Hello dear students, welcome to Department of Chemistry, KTHM College, Nasik. So student, in our previous lecture, we started our discussion about the second thermal technique, that is the DTA, differential thermal analysis. The analytical technique in which temperature difference between the reference and the sample is monitored as a function of time or temperature is known as a DTA. We also discussed the principle of a DTA. In an DTA, if the process taking place in an sample is a endothermic, we will get a downward peak, and if the process taking place is an exothermic, we will get a upward peak. Depending upon the shape, size, or you can say the nature of peaks, we will get many more information regarding the test sample. For example, exothermicity, endothermicity, dehydration, oxidation reaction, decomposition temperature, melting point, etc., etc. Many more information we can get from the DTA curve. Afterward, we discuss the instrumentation part. In an instrumentation, the two sample holders are placed in the furnace. The furnace provides a constant and uniform temperature to both sample as well as the reference, and the temperature difference between sample and reference is recorded by using a thermocouple, that is the differential thermocouple. The information from the thermocouple is then amplified and recorded by the recorder. Probably strip chart recorder is used. It will give a peak, or you can say the graph, in which the temperature difference is recorded as a function of a time or temperature. Now today in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the factors affecting the DTA curve. Factors affecting DTA curve. So the factors affecting DTA curve. Number of factors which affect over the DTA, such as the sample characteristics, instrumental characteristics are also there, environment inside the furnace, or you can say the sample holders, environmental factor we call it as. So we will discuss all these factors one by one. We start with the first one, sample characteristic. First one, sample characteristic. The first sample characteristic is the amount of a sample. First one, amount of sample. Okay, as we discussed earlier, in a DTA, very small sample is required in terms of a milligram. So the milligram of a sample is required. If the sample is in terms of a gram, it will affect over the DTA. So what is the requirement about the amount of sample? Milligram of a sample is required. Gram sample affect nature of TGA. Second thing is about the particle size. Second is about the particle size. The particles or the samples with a small and uniform particle size gives a more precise result. Uniform and a small particle size gives precise result. Precise and accurate result we will get from the uniform and small particle size. Next one is a sample packaging. Sample packaging. Sample packaging means a sample preparation. We have to prepare the sample before uploading into the instrument. Sample preparation we call it as. In a sample preparation, the sample material is mixed with certain inert material. As an inert material, alumina is used, sometimes glass beads are also used. This inert material we can call diluent inert material, which will dilute the sample material. So we call it as a diluent, solid diluent, inert material is used. So sample is mixed with inert diluent. For example, alumina, or you can use glass beads also. So it was an account about the sample characteristic. Now we will proceed towards the instrumental characteristics. Second one, instrumental characteristic. Instrumental characteristic. Instrumental factor we call it as. First of all, we will start with the sample holder. First one, sample holder. As discussed earlier, milligram of sample is used. Obviously, a very small sample holder will be there. And probably it is made from the glass or ceramic material. Small sample holder. Made from glass or ceramics. They can be prepared by metals also. Means a metallic pan also used. Sometime metallic pan also used. Metallic pan also used. Depending upon the material by which the sample holder is made, the little bit variation in a DTA is observed. If the sample holder is made from the metal, a broad endothermic and a sharp exothermic peak is observed. If the sample holder is made from metals, that is a metallic, then we will get broad endothermic and sharp exothermic peak. For example, these are the endothermic, so broad endothermic and sharp exothermic peak will be obtained. If it is made from the non-metal, non-metallic, then we will get a sharp endothermic and broad exothermic peaks, like this. Got the reference? Probably deep crucible type sample holder is a preferred. Deep crucible type sample holder is a preferred. Because in this case we are not dealing with the evolved gases, we deals with the temperature difference only. So the deep crucible type is a suitable geometry of the sample holder. Now the second is a thermocouple. Thermocouple. Thermocouple is used to sense the temperature difference. Differential thermocouple we call it as, because it will give the difference in a temperature, so we call it as a differential thermocouple. In most of the DTA, the thermocouple is directly in contact with the sample material. It means it is present inside the sample holder. according to our previous discussion, depending upon the location, or you can say the position of the thermocouple, two types of DTAs are there. One is nothing but the heat flux DTA, and second is a classical DTA. In heat flux DTA, thermocouple is present outside the sample holder. Obviously, if the thermocouple is present outside the sample holder, it will never measure the temperature accurately. It means it will never give a more precise and accurate result. In the second type of a DTA, the thermocouple is placed inside the sample holder, and therefore it measures the very accurate temperature of the sample as well as a reference, and therefore it gives a more precise result. In many more cases, thermocouple is present inside the sample holder. Second thing, the thermocouple has a sensing wire. The thickness of the wire also affects the DTA curve. Actually, the fine, or you can say the thin wire, gives a sharp and clean peaks. What is about the thermocouple? It is used to measure temperature difference. In case of heat flux DTA, thermocouple is outside the sample holder, and in classical DTA, thermocouple is inside the sample holder. About the thickness of wire, thin wire of a thermocouple gives sharp and clean peaks. But obviously the wire is a thin, it will affect by the temperature fluctuation. Means obviously it will have a low resistance towards the temperature, and therefore it affects over the shape and size of the DTA peaks, but have low resistance and hence gives less accurate result. So it was an account about the thermocouple. Now the next one is the temperature regime. Temperature regime. See. Temperature regime. It is nothing but the heating rate, temperature regime, heating rate. Actually, in a DTA, the sample is heated at a high rate in comparison with TGA, approximately 10 to 20 degrees Celsius per minute rate is suitable. If the rate of heating is low, it gives a broad peak, and if the heating rate is high, it gives sharp and intense peak. So 10 to 20 degrees Celsius per minute is suitable. If our heating rate is low, it gives broad peaks, and heating rate is high. If the heating rate is high, it gives sharp peaks. So it was an account about the temperature regimes. Now the recorder. Strip chart recorder will give the best result. Next factor. Strip chart recorder. Gives best results. So it was the discussion about the instrumental characteristics. Now the environmental characteristics, environmental factors. The environment inside the sample holder also affect the nature of TGA, because the gaseous atmosphere present in the sample holder or the gases present in the sample holder can react with the reactant or product, that is the sample, or you can say the reference also. Unwanted peaks may be obtained due to that reaction. So, in order to maintain the environment inside the sample holder, the atmosphere controller is here. And the atmosphere controller controls the atmosphere inside the sample holder. Generally, static air and dynamic air is used for that purpose. So our third part of discussion is environmental factor. Two provisions are here. One is the dynamic air and second is the static air. First of all, we will discuss about the static air. In an static air, the atmospheric air is blown through the sample holder to eject the evolved gases. The atmospheric air is blown through the sample holder to remove the evolved gases. But it is difficult to maintain the constant atmospheric air, because we know that atmospheric air changes time to time. For example, humidity, temperature, moisture, oxygen content, CO2 content changes time to time. So it is difficult to reproduce the atmospheric air, and obviously whatever the air we are blowing through the sample holder will be the different one in each case. My intention is to focus over the reproducibility. Means we cannot maintain the reproducibility in this case in a static air. What we will do over here? The atmospheric air is blown through the sample holder. But due to the non-reproducibility, just we discuss over here, the result are not precise or that much accurate. The second one is a dynamic air. Dynamic air means what? The compressed air is blown through the sample holder. Compressed air. Already compressed air with us, and we have to just blow the air through the sample holder. We can compress the inert gas and reactive gases. So the two possibilities are there. We can compress the inert air, or it may be the reactive gases. Obviously, if the dynamic air is inert air, it will give a best result, because it will never react with the test sample as well as the references, and it will never give the additional peak in DTA. If the reactive gases are there, the reactive gases react with sample or reference, and obviously will give the additional peak. So it was an account about the factor affecting on DTA curve. So you can note all these points just by screenshot, so that we will proceed towards the applications. Now the applications of a DTA. Applications of a DTA. Many more applications are here. We will discuss few important applications of a DTA. The first application is related to the physical chemistry. In physical chemistry, DTA is used to determine the heat of reaction, specific heat, then the thermal diffusibility, heat of reactions, heat evolved during the process, etc., etc. So the first application is that to determine the heat of reaction, to determine the heat diffusibility. Next one, to determine the heat capacity, heat specific heat, etc. First application. It is used to determine heat of reaction. We call it as enthalpy of reaction. Second, specific heat. Heat diffusibility. Heat change during the process. Etc. Along with that, DTA is used to study the polymeric material. To study the polymeric material. Number of properties of polymeric materials are there. For example, when the polymeric material is heated, it gets converted into their elastomers at a certain temperature. Sometimes it gets converted into the imfusible material. Melting point, temperature of a crystallization, thermal stability, etc., etc., can be measured by using a differential thermal analysis. In an inorganic chemistry, the qualitative as well as the quantitative analysis of mineral can be carried out by using a DTA. The qualitative as well as quantitative study of minerals can be done by using a DTA. The DTA curve of each compound is a different one. Means different substances have a different DTA curve. And therefore, the DTA curve of the pure compound can be used as a fingerprint to compare with others. So the DTA curve can be used as a fingerprint in an qualitative analysis. DTA curve is used as fingerprint in qualitative analysis. Why it is so? Because the DTA of two compounds are not identical. Since DTA of two compounds are not identical, and therefore we can use them as a fingerprint. The area of the peak is proportional to the amount of substance and heat of reaction. The area of the peak is proportional to weight of sample and heat of reaction, and therefore can be used for quantitative analysis. Hence, can be used for quantitative analysis. Next, it is used to check the thermal stability also. Thermal stability of coordination complexes, because we know that in an coordination complexes two spheres are there. One is nothing but the ionization sphere and second is a coordination sphere. So by using a DTA we can check the ligands present in the coordination sphere. So it is used to check the thermal stability. Thermal stability of coordination complexes, so that we can determine the ligands present in coordination sphere, because we know that ligand present in the coordination sphere does not ionize, and therefore DTA curve will be the helpful for that purpose. So it was an account about some important applications of the DTA. You can note all these applications by screenshot. Okay, so students, in this lecture we will stop here. Thank you.